Retirement should be your time to relax, recharge, and finally live for you. But too many seniors unknowingly sacrifice that peace by giving their children the wrong things at the wrong time. They think they're being generous, responsible, even loving. But in reality, these choices often lead to stress, regret, and even financial or emotional ruin. Today on EverWell Seniors, we're uncovering 8 things you should never give your child after retirement if you truly want to protect your peace of mind. Let's begin with one of the most common and most costly mistakes. 1. Never give them your home too soon. Signing your home over to your child while you're still alive might seem like a smart way to avoid probate or make things easier, but it can backfire fast. You're giving up full legal control. If your child gets divorced, sued, or into debt, your home can be taken. And worst of all, if your relationship changes, you may have no legal way to protect your living situation. Meet Margaret, a retired teacher in her early 70s. She adored her daughter Samantha and wanted to make life easier for her. So she decided to sign the house over to Samantha early, just to avoid probate later. Within a year, Samantha's husband lost his job. The couple couldn't keep up with their bills and used the home as collateral for a risky loan. When the debts piled up, the bank came knocking, and Margaret, now technically just a tenant, had no legal say. She lost the home she'd lived in for 40 years. Morale: never transfer ownership of your home while you're still living in it. It can expose you to unnecessary financial risk and family drama. There are better ways, like living trusts, that keep you protected and prepared. 2. Never give them unlimited financial support. Many parents want to help their adult children just until they get back on their feet. But if there's no clear limit, that help becomes a habit. And your retirement savings, they slowly vanish. You spent decades saving, not to rescue others, but to protect your future. At 68, Frank, a retired machinist, thought he was doing the right thing when he helped his son, Jason, through a rough patch. That patch turned into years of bailing him out of credit card debt, helping with rent, and co-signing for car loans. Frank's $250,000 retirement fund down to $18,000 by the time he turned 73. And Jason still struggling because he never learned to manage on his own. Helping and enabling are not the same thing. You worked for decades to build your savings. Your retirement is not a safety net for adult children who refuse to stand on their own. Support them emotionally, guide them financially, but don't sacrifice your stability for their comfort. 3. Never give them control over your decisions too early. It's smart to plan ahead and assign a power of attorney, but giving someone full legal control over your finances, healthcare, and property before it's necessary can strip away your independence. Eleanor, a widow in her mid-70s, wanted to keep things simple in case anything happened to her. So she gave her son, Mark, power of attorney, complete power of attorney. At first, everything seemed fine. But then, Mark began making decisions without asking her. He sold off one of her small investment properties. He even changed her healthcare plan, claiming it was too expensive. Eleanor felt trapped in her own life. Yes, planning ahead is important, but handing over total control, especially when you're still mentally sharp, can leave you powerless. Protect your autonomy, choose durable or limited power of attorney, and never sign anything you don't fully understand. Still here and learning something? Comment yes below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Now let's dive back in. 4. Never give them access to your bank accounts. Adding a child to your bank account gives them equal access to all your funds. That means they can withdraw money at any time, for any reason, and it's not always easy to recover stolen or misused funds, even if it's family. Leo, a retired bus driver, trusted his daughter Emily with everything. After his mild stroke, she insisted on getting added to his bank account, just to help pay bills. But Emily began making small withdrawals, then bigger ones. Eventually, $43,000 was gone, spent on vacations, a new kitchen, and credit card debt. Leo never reported it because she's still my daughter. But the betrayal crushed him. It's heartbreaking, but financial abuse by family members is more common than we think. If you need help managing your finances, use a professional fiduciary or set up monitored access, not open-ended control. 5. Never give up your retirement to raise their kids. Grandparenting is a gift, but raising grandkids full-time can be physically exhausting, emotionally draining, and financially risky. You may find yourself giving up your time, hobbies, and health needs for someone else's responsibilities. Denise, age 66, thought her grandma duties would be weekends and the occasional sleepover. But when her daughter Laura went through a divorce, those visits turned into full-time childcare. Before she knew it, Denise was waking up early for school runs, missing her doctor appointments, and exhausted by the end of every day. She loved her grandkids, of course, but this wasn't what she envisioned for her golden years. Your retirement isn't a second parenthood. Set boundaries. Babysit? Sure. Raise? No. You deserve time for your health, your dreams, and your rest. 6. Never give them your guilt. Many seniors feel guilty about mistakes they made as parents, working long hours, missing events, or being strict. But trying to make up for the past by overgiving today only traps you in a cycle of emotional debt. Roger, a former construction manager, had always been a provider. When he retired, his daughter made him feel guilty for not being as financially present as before. "Must be nice, Dad, not to worry about bills," and she'd say. Or, "Remember all the things I gave up when you were working all the time?" Soon, Roger was constantly trying to make up for past parenting mistakes with money, time, or favors. Let's be clear, you are not responsible for how your children feel about the past. If you made mistakes, own them with words, not your wallet. You've earned the right to be at peace with your life. 7. Never give them the job of being your emotional anchor. Your children love you, but they're not trained therapists. If you lean too heavily on them for emotional support, it can damage your bond, especially if they're overwhelmed with their own lives. Barbara, age 74, lost her husband suddenly. Her daughter Lynn became her emotional lifeline. Every day, Barbara would call to cry, vent, or lean on her, until Lynn admitted she was emotionally drained. Grief is heavy, but your child isn't your therapist. It's okay to feel pain, but you also need a support system beyond your kids. Join a grief group, talk to a counselor, reconnect with old friends. You are still capable of healing, and your relationship with your children should be filled with joy, not burden. 8. Never give them the idea that you'll always be there. Always being available for help, money, or favors may feel loving, but it builds expectation, not appreciation. And when your health changes, or you can no longer give, that relationship can shift in painful ways. Tom and Martha, in their late 60s, would drop everything at a moment's notice for their son Brian. Need money? Done. Need a babysitter? No problem. Need a ride to the airport at 3 a.m.? They were there. Until one day, Tom had a heart attack. Suddenly, the calls from Brian stopped. There were no more requests, but also no offers to help. Tom and Martha had trained Brian to depend on them, but now that they couldn't give, they were no longer part of his priority list. Don't set yourself up to be indispensable. It may feel loving, but it often breeds expectation, not appreciation. Let your kids know you're here for love, not for sacrifice. These 8 mistakes may seem like acts of love, but they can cost you your peace, your money, and your health. Retirement is your time. You've earned the right to say no without guilt, to set boundaries without shame, to enjoy your life with the freedom and dignity you deserve. By learning what not to give, you give your children something even greater. An example of what healthy, wise aging looks like. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe to EverWell Seniors, where we grow wiser, healthier, and happier together. You've given all your life. Now, it's time to give yourself peace.